this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
You're listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson.
Good Wednesday morning. Nice to have you with us on the 47 Morning Update. It is a civil war in the Democratic Party right now. Democrats coming out in force, trying to demonize ICE, and more of them calling to abolish ICE altogether. So what are they going to do? And what does President Trump have to say in response? It's the 47 Morning Update, and it starts right now.
Story number one.
There is anarchy in the Democratic Party right now, and they have gone to war not with the people that they should be going to war with, the criminals who are being arrested in this country, but instead they're now going to war with ICE. Now, there is a civil war within the Democratic Party of they're trying to decide. Do we just straight up be honest and say we want to abolish ICE, or do we kind of lie a little bit? Now, before I get to that, I want you to hear about the arrests that have happened since yesterday in Minnesota. I want you to listen to what the federal government has put out about the arrests since yesterday, as Democrats say that ICE need to get the F out of their city, the F out of their state, and there needs to be a civil war against the ICE agents. This is also coming as the Democratic Party is saying in the future they may go out and arrest ICE agents and hold them accountable for the crimes they claim they're committing now. So who are they actually out arresting? Well, listen to this, and this is, again, just since yesterday.
We came here today. I printed out a few individuals that I'd like to share with you, individuals that were arrested since yesterday. These three individuals were arrested just since yesterday. Keep in mind now, these individuals were walking the streets of Minneapolis with impunity as of yesterday. We've got Hovai Kumaye, a criminal illegal alien from Laos, a registered sex offender convicted of sex offense against a child, including fondling and failure to register as a sex offender. This individual was walking the streets of Minneapolis just yesterday. This individual right here. It's very interesting that I haven't seen this individual or many others like him reported on very much by the local news media or the state news media. That's interesting. But wait, let's don't quit there. No, you can't. Let's continue here. We've got Samuel Aravelo Hernandez, a criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, charged with rape and lewd or lascivious acts with a minor. Now, think about that for just a second. Rape, and then on top of that, lewd and lascivious acts with a minor. This individual was walking the streets of Minneapolis with impunity just yesterday. Let's don't quit there. Let's keep on there. We've got Annabelle Gomez, a criminal illegal alien from Honduras, previously arrested for criminal sexual conduct and domestic assault. Other convictions include disorderly conduct and driving under the influence of liquor. Walking the streets as of yesterday. These are just three that I decided to print out. There's a whole stack of them. There's a whole stack of these. As a matter of fact, when we look over the past year at the 10,000 that have been arrested here in Minneapolis and Minnesota, that stack is enormous. These are the kinds of individuals this operation focuses on. Individuals who escalate situations and endanger others. Again, our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, and Ma and Pa America. This is exactly why interior enforcement exists, to remove dangerous criminals from our communities, remove dangerous illegal alien criminals from our communities. It's also...
Now, these are the stories the left doesn't want you to know about, because this is all about a civil war. Quote, Trump's politicalization of the DOJ will not deter Mayor Fry, Governor Walz, and A.G. Ellison from doing their jobs to protect the people of Minnesota. I stand with them against these blatant abuse of power. So let's just be clear. Senator Schumer is fighting hard to keep criminals like Pao Zhang, a rapist and child molester, in the country. He's been convicted of sex offenses against child fondling, burglary, larceny, and rape. He was arrested in Minnesota. This individual is who Chuck Schumer is defending in the Democratic Party. That's where the Civil War comes in. There are other Democrats who are like, we can't say that publicly. Like, we know we want to abolish ICE, and we're the same party that says we want to get rid of police officers. But now, how do you actually accomplish this? That is the debate they're having on TV. Now, they're going back to their old playbook, which is to demonize, dehumanize, and try to convince Americans that ICE agents are the Gestapo, that ICE agents are not crime fighters, not actually going after the worst that are out there that are illegal immigrants. You know, the rapists and the murderers and the sex traffickers and the drug dealers. No. They want you to believe that somehow that is ICE, and the do-gooders are the people that broke into this country that are also committing heinous crimes. Take a listen to Chris Van Hollen. This is what he had to say as he's trying to rewrite history. And there's a theme that is happening. This is orchestrated by the Democratic Party. Listen to what he said about the deranged leftists that are impeding ICE operations and what he calls them.
One of the things that gives me great hope, even amidst all of this division and chaos sown by Donald Trump, are the patriots in places like Minneapolis who are standing up, blowing whistles to protect their neighbors, blowing whistles on the illegal tactics of ICE. And I was just at a rally in Hagerstown, Maryland today. Hundreds of people coming out because ICE has signaled that they might use a facility in Hagerstown for their purposes. And people were coming out to say no.
You listen to Van Hollen. One of the things that gives me great hope are the patriots in places like Minneapolis who are standing up, blowing whistles to protect their neighbors. Now, who are they actually protecting? They are protecting the child rapists and the murderers, the worst among us, that ICE are going out to get. And why are they having to do that? Because in Minneapolis, the local government refuses to work with ICE. There have been more than 500 people that could have been handed over to ICE that were in custody of the Minneapolis police departments. And what did they do? They let them go instead of actually holding them for ICE to be held accountable for their actions. This, again, is the Democratic Party. You take a listen to the St. Paul mayor. You may not have heard much about her compared to the mayor of Minneapolis who said to get the F out of our city, referring to ICE agents. But she's just about as radical as he is. And I want you to hear what she said about the targeting of church members that happened over the weekend. Don Lemon, the former CNN radical, was there as well. And here's what she said.
Curious how you see this. Do you think that some of those protesters may have gone beyond their First Amendment rights in going into a church like that and broke the law?
I will say that ICE has led the way in their charge of going onto school properties and detaining people from places that should be just as well kept sacred. And so, we responded the exact same way we would have at any place of worship. That our PD came in, and because this is an ongoing investigation, I can't comment more than that. But I would say we would have handled this in any other way, in any other place of worship.
In any other place of worship. So there's the St. Paul mayor who's done nothing about the deranged mobs that are targeting a church during their church service, and then defending these far leftists, and then blames ICE. ICE has led the way. We responded the exact same way we would have at any place of worship, meaning that if these radicals want to come into a church during a service and terrorize those parishioners in Minneapolis and in St. Paul, they're in favor of it. Take a listen to Democratic Senator Tina Smith refusing to answer a simple question. And the simple question is, hey, these far-left anti-ICE mobs, should they be targeting churches during service? Here's what the senator had to say.
Yesterday, we saw a group of protesters go into the city's church to protest a pastor that they believe is an ICE agent. That has, of course, generated considerable criticism from those who say this was a desecration of a place of worship. Would you urge protesters to do more of what we're seeing here, or do you think that is counterproductive for what they're trying to achieve?
So almost all of the protests and demonstrations that we've seen in Minnesota, and especially in Minneapolis and St. Paul, have been peaceful, have been nonviolent. And of course, that is the right response. What all of our messages have been is basically don't take the bait. Don't fuel the president's narrative. Don't fuel Donald Trump's narrative that this is a dangerous place. Let's show them how we stand up for each other and stand up for our neighbors. And that's what makes me so proud of Minnesota, right?
You listen to that Democratic senator. She now says that's what makes her so proud. Almost all of the protests and demonstrations that we've seen in Minnesota have been peaceful. So she's telling you and admitting, okay, yeah, some of them have gotten completely out of hand, but we're just so proud of all these people that just keep showing up. And we're just so proud that they're out there terrorizing people in church. Democratic Minneapolis City Council member telling this lie about ICE agents. And again, this goes back to the playbook of dehumanizing and attacking ICE agents, trying to turn them into the bad guys, into the Gestapo. Remember, you have a mayor and a governor that have not only disparaged ICE agents, but they've said they want a civil war and they can get the F out of their city. Well, now you've got a Democratic Minneapolis City Council member saying this.
Every single person in the city understands that this is not here for public safety, right? Jake, we've had the first murder in the city of Minneapolis was perpetrated by federal agents. If this was about safety, ICE would be out of our city. And so I think we are seeing every single individual from every single corner of walk of life in this city start to understand that this is not about safety and that we are trying to do something here in our city because it's not okay.
So to be clear, that is a Democratic City Council member telling a lie to Jake Tapper. Notice how he doesn't say a word to stop him. A disgusting lie to smear ICE agents who are already under attack while trying to arrest rapists, murderers, and pedophiles. This city council member said this was just, if this was about safety, ICE would be out of our city. No, ICE is actually doing the job that you refuse to do. Minnesota Democrats are protecting the criminal illegals, just like the fraudsters who are there that have stolen countless dollars from American taxpayers. You've got deranged individuals out there, just like Stacey Abrams, invoking Hitler and Chavez when trying to smear President Trump. This is part of the Democratic Party. Stacey Abrams saying it this way in an interview. Listen carefully to the words she chooses.
Economic populism raised up Hitler in Germany. It raised up Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, and we watched it raise up Trump and his regime right here in America.
That is Stacey Abrams invoking Hitler and Chavez when smearing President Trump. Why is she allowed to say this and get away with it in her own party? Because they believe it. They are going to continue to advocate and to completely go after Donald Trump and any Republican and ICE agents and law enforcement because they do not want law and order in America. John Ossoff saying this about what is happening in Minnesota. And did he condemn the violence? Does he condemn what's happening with ICE agents? Well, here he is in his own words.
I don't know, Pastor, where it is in Scripture that it says, deny care to the sick, that it says, take from those with the least to give to those with the most, that it says, violate the house of worship to hunt down the refugee.
Notice he has no problem with hunting down the pastor who they think is connected to law and order. He won't condemn the far left, the anti-ICE mob that targeted a church in St. Paul during service, and instead slanders ICE for arresting criminal illegals. So this is the Democratic Party, filled with Marxists, socialists, and communists who wanted to fund all law enforcement and wanted to fund ICE. This is why every election is so important. It's also the reason why so many voted for Donald Trump, because they want law and order. Now, thank goodness Donald Trump is not giving in to the radical left. Instead, he's holding them accountable. And as the left continues to tell you what they believe in, I say one thing: Listen to them. This is what they believe. This is what they want for this country. This is how much they hate law enforcement. When they tell you, believe them. And it's our job to call them out.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson Podcast, and we will see you back here on Monday morning.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.